Good afternoon. Happy Cinco de Mayo, everyone, and welcome to all of our attendees. I'm Callie Sarter, the Vice President of Marketing here at Spartan, and I will be getting us started. So first of all, we want to thank you for joining us. We promise to make it time well spent. Spartan's team has put together a great program for you today that covers valuable information and resources to help you, the building service contractor, develop a managed cleaning program that you can sell and promote to your clients and to leverage to gain new business. Our industry is definitely on the front lines of helping to prevent the spread of infection. It's what BSCs do day in and day out, 365 days a year. So whether it's COVID-19, the common cold, or the flu, it is important to be prepared and take the required steps to clean and disinfect properly with an infection control program. That means the right products combined with training and management tools. Today, Mike is going to demonstrate for you how you can use CompuClean to document and manage your cleaning operations as buildings start to reopen. And we've all seen that that's something that's happening now and will continue for the next few weeks. But before we get started, I wanted to introduce you to your presenters. So let's start with Mike Fabian. Mike is Spartan's CompuClean manager. Mike has been with Spartan for 15 years. He has 15 years of management experience in the Jan/San industry with a focus on technology-driven custodial management systems. Mike oversees all aspects of Spartan's CompuClean facility management software, including development, training, and sales, and he works closely with Spartan clients and distributors to help them implement and utilize CompuClean to its full potential. Next up, we have Jared Atanasio. Jared is our Director of Building Service Contractor Programs. Jared holds a Bachelor of Science from The Ohio State University, OH. He has 10 years experience with Spartan and over 21 years experience in the janitorial and sanitation industry. Jared joined our BSC team in 2016, and prior to that, he was a regional manager for Spartan's North Carolina region. And lastly, I have Jason Welch. Jason is a microbiologist for Spartan. He has been on our R&D team for since 1998. Jason is a key expert when it comes to disinfection. He formulated close to 100 products for Spartan, including disinfectants, hand care, like light and foamy, food processing chemicals, drain line maintenance chemicals, industrial warewashing products, carpet care, industrial degreasers, vehicle care, and hard surface cleaners like the fan favorite Clean by Proxy. And Jason holds 4 patents. So now let's get into a few housekeeping items before we get into the presentation. The format will include a 30-minute presentation and a 30-minute question and answer session. During the broadcast, you will be able to submit a question through the Q&A panel that is on the right hand of your broadcast window. So we will do our best to address all the submissions, and if your question does get missed, we will also do our best to follow up after. We will post FAQs on our website after this broadcast. And then lastly, this presentation will be available as a download on our COVID preparedness page, which is on our website. And then we will also upload a link to view a recording of the broadcast so you can hear it live or share it with someone else that you might think would find value in it. So let's get to it now. I'm going to turn it over to Jared to get us started. Jared?
Thank you, Callie, and a delayed I.O. to you.
Thank you. That's what I was waiting for. I wanted you to come on here and say that.
Absolutely. Right. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. I hope everyone's staying safe out there and healthy out there. But as we all know, the new normal will definitely be different for the BSC community. It will be more critical now more than ever to rewrite the playbook on SSOPs, training, products being used, and documentation and validation of the processes and procedures being used every day. CompuClean can help assist with doing all of that. Your customers are going to want to feel comfortable and safe going back to work. And they will want to require you to prove that you are going to be able to show the cleaning procedures and processes that you use were effective and what they're looking for their return to the workplace. As you will see in this presentation, we'll be able to provide you with all of those tools. We can create customized job cards. We can document the training and cleaning procedures and be able to unlock the ability to have great quality inspections. So without further ado, again, I want to thank everybody for taking the time to spend a little bit of time with us to educate yourselves on CompuClean and really take that next step into the validation process for the new cleaning procedures. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Mr. Mike Fabian.
Thank you, Jared, and good afternoon or morning, depending on where you are. Thank you again for joining us today as we explore some strategies and thoughts on how to effectively build and manage a cleaning program to address the changes that are facing our industry. There is no question that as businesses and facilities begin to reopen, our industry is going to be turned completely upside down. We are going to be faced with the ongoing challenges of social distancing, restrictions on visitors and foot traffic. So building traffic is going to be lower, yet the requirements for cleaning and sanitation are going to be higher. Staying home when you're sick is absolutely the new normal. Those of us who have pushed through days and in the office or out on the job where you can barely stand up, those days are over. We're home when we're sick, we're staying away, we're trying to protect everybody around us. And the requirements and challenges on our industry and building service contractors are going to be immeasurable. The focus is on the cleaning and sanitation in facilities at this point. Everybody is aware of what's going on. Everybody is looking around them. People are scared. People are afraid to be out. So it's going to be incumbent on us to become visible and to become, and to advance the professionalism of the service that we provide to reassure building occupants and customers, of the safety of the environment. We certainly can't do everything to prevent infection, but we are one of the most visible tools that any organization has available to promote safety and a infection-free environment to staff and building occupants. So, the requirements are changing. Gone are the days where we don't document and validate processes and cleaning procedures and the quality of service being provided. We're going to be forced to move into a professionally managed cleaning environment. We've identified 4 key components to that new managed cleaning strategy, and that is effective documentation of process, methods for validating cleaning and measuring performance, and providing the ability to resolve issues that are identified during the validation. Managing and communicating work assignments, making sure that people know what they are doing and that we've documented who is doing what and when they are doing it. These are going to be key pieces as we move forward and begin to reopen as a nation. And finally, effective staff training. There is new information, new things that need to be learned as it relates to pandemic disinfection, post-pandemic cleaning and opening of buildings. We've got some resources for that as well. So today our focus is going to be on utilizing the value-added tools and resources that Spartan Chemical offers in conjunction with developing this managed cleaning program. The primary tool that we're going to discuss is our CompuClean facility management software. And CompuClean is a product that we've had for the better part of 20 years. It is a cloud-based software package that also comes complete with mobile apps for Apple and Android products, that is targeted at data management with a facility and cleaning focus. The CompuClean system is a tool for managing the flow of work and the communication of work assignments within a facility. It provides documentation of process and procedure. It features a robust quality assurance system that we'll try to talk about as a validation tool for your post-pandemic cleaning program. It also offers some resource management tools for your inventory and capital equipment, as well as a tool for tracking the training of employees. So CompuClean in and of itself is not specifically designed as a post-pandemic cleaning management system, but it really positions itself perfectly to plug in and develop these new capabilities for any building service contractor. And that's just by virtue of it being an effective cleaning management system. We can leverage all of the tools in CompuClean to build these new procedures, new inspections, new programs to help us more effectively document the cleaning of facilities. So I want to start my conversation around process documentation and how we can utilize the tools in CompuClean to clearly and concisely create customized and effective processes for facilities. So CompuClean is capable of doing a full detailed room-to-room workload for any facility. And that workloading process involves, first cataloging the space that we're cleaning. So understanding the rooms or areas that are being serviced, categorizing those rooms or areas to identify, the square footage and the type of surface within that area. And then we have the ability to create and build a custom task or process for that space. And you're looking at an example of it here on the screen. So this is representative of a CompuClean cleaning task. And I've taken our pandemic disinfection procedure, plugged it into the system. We're able to include images within that whole process. So we can customize this and actually include images that are specific to our facility or to the areas that we're cleaning. And we can develop frequencies, so how many days per week these items are happening. So each step in that procedure is clearly documented. It's customizable. It can be branded with your logo or information. And you can even include products in this card that is generated out of the CompuClean system. So you could, in theory, develop disinfection procedures, post-pandemic cleaning procedures, and make them specific to each customer that you service. So this is really a great tool to help effectively document cleaning processes, to communicate that information to your staff, and make sure that everybody understands what the proper procedure is. Okay. So that's one capability that we can address utilizing CompuClean, documentation of process. If we take things a step further with workloading, we're going to be able to develop specific work assignments for any facility that detail responsibility within the facility. I've put an example in here of an assignment where we simply go with a named assignment, assignment 1, assignment 2. It could be an employee's name as well if we chose to go that direction. And we could detail each area of responsibility so we don't have questions about who was responsible for what. These can be handed out. You'll see this is a checklist that can be generated directly from the system. Hand it out, check them off. End of the day, we know that everything was completed. And if we get questions about who's cleaning a particular area, we have that fully documented. So this is a great tool for larger facilities. We can even take this to the next level and use it as a tool to demonstrate the staffing requirements. So CompuClean does have the ability to do productivity studies, to estimate staffing levels, and potentially validate that you are staffing a facility sufficiently to accomplish the tasks and cleaning that need to be done. So I strongly believe as we continue to move through this pandemic, as facilities continue to open, that we are going to see a very strong focus on documentation. And how are we cleaning? What are the procedures? Does your staff know how to effectively disinfect? Do they know the proper products? Do they know their dwell time? So all of this documentation and standardization of process is critical to providing reassurance to your building occupants and customers. So the next thing I want to discuss is how we use process validation as a part of a managed cleaning program. Going through and documenting procedures and communicating that to staff is an excellent first step, but we need a way to measure the fact that these tasks are being performed, that they're being performed effectively, and we need a way to do so that not only checks the box and makes sure that, hey, we did an inspection, but is going to also provide us tools to analyze that information, take the data from our inspections that we're doing across facilities, and help us to develop strategies for training, for process modification, and for reinforcement to drive continual improvement within the facility. CompuClean offers a very flexible, easy to learn, and effective mobile-based inspection system that gives you the ability to design an inspection for any type of space or any type of facility, to perform those inspections on a smartphone or tablet of your choice. Again, we're compatible with Android and Apple products. And most importantly, have the ability to generate a variety of powerful reports that bring that information out and put it in front of you as a manager or supervisor to help understand where your strengths and weaknesses are. This can be an excellent tool for validating the performance on new cleaning processes. If you are installing day porters in facilities, I think we're going to see a lot of businesses requesting day porter service where we have somebody just going around and disinfecting touch points all day long. So this might be a way to help put together an inspection and some training to track the performance for those activities. Again, fully customizable. We can include images in our inspections. We also have the ability to track and document corrective actions within an inspection. So if we do identify an issue, there is a system to monitor, communicate, and complete the resolution of that problem. So the corrective action process, once I find an issue in a facility, I'm able to assign it to an employee or staff member. They can receive communication via text or email or both, and then they can react to it and mark it as completed right inside of our mobile app. So all you would need is a smartphone to put together a full feedback loop that helps us to track the completion of issues. It's going to allow us to capture images throughout that process. So as I resolve a problem that was reported to me, I can take a before and after picture to demonstrate that we have corrected the problem. Everybody says a picture is worth 1,000 words, and in this case, it's absolutely true. This provides an excellent tool to validate to your customers, to your building occupants, to the staff within your facility that you are effectively monitoring the cleaning of the facility. So you're doing structured inspections. You've got data to help drive your decisions and drive your training and make sure that you're performing to the standard that you wish to meet. As a quick example of how this information can be leveraged, I've brought in a chart that can be generated directly out of CompuClean. In this example, I went through and took a look at 3 months worth of inspections in restrooms. If we're having problems in restrooms, how do we know where specifically the problem is? Do we just train people on everything that needs to be done in restrooms? Maybe, but as a more efficient way to handle this training, being able to grab a chart like this, identify dispensers and trash receptacles as my consistent failure items, and target my training and reinforcement to the areas that I need it most is a much more efficient use of time and puts you in the driver's seat as a manager or supervisor. And also, again, there's reporting here that can be provided back to your customer, to building occupants, to reinforce the oversight and the management that you're doing by effectively inspecting a facility. So another area that I'd like to address and that CompuClean plugs into seamlessly for contract cleaners is communication of assignments. And we do that at 2 specific levels: for repeating periodic work and also for one-time work requests. Periodic work traditionally has been your floor care, strip and recoats, deep cleans, carpet extractions, things that we're doing on a less frequent basis. Moving forward, we're going to need to add deep cleans and disinfections into that rotation as well. Whether these are things that are happening on a weekly basis, maybe monthly, I think that a lot of that's going to depend on what we learn as we're going forward, and also the makeup and construction of facilities. CompuClean can become a platform to document these processes and communicate them to staff. In the screenshot that I have in the slide here, you'll notice that we have a full disinfection procedure written out and available as part of a work order. We can target these work orders to a floor or section of a building, or even specific rooms, put them onto a calendar and assign them directly to staff or supervisors, and then track the completion and document the time that is utilized to complete these items. So if I need to do a weekly disinfection process in a facility, I schedule it, I set it up, I tell CompuClean I want it done once a week, and every time it comes due, we have a work order sitting there. Once we mark that work order complete, it reschedules, and we know that it will be there next week when it's time for that activity to happen again. So this is a great way to structure periodic work. It's an excellent way to make sure that you are adhering to your scope of work, and a fantastic tool to communicate to staff the assignments and responsibilities that are necessary to effectively maintain the facility. Another angle on this is a work request. So thinking about one-time jobs, complaints, requests for additional service, anything that is being requested by your customer can be managed through CompuClean as well. And they can either log into a service portal through CompuClean and actually type in the request themselves, send it off to your team. We have email and text communication built in to this feature, or you can enter them directly into the system and assign them to somebody on your team to complete. This is this functions really as a very simple, easy to deploy work order system, but it's got the capability to manage anywhere from one facility to hundreds, and do so efficiently and effectively, allowing you visibility into all of the work requests that are happening within your facility. If there's an emergency in a facility, we can immediately handle, assign that information, communicate it to staff, and have concise documentation of when those activities are completed. So again, this just feeds into the overall communication, understanding, and knowledge of staff as to the needs of the facility. The last component of managed cleaning is education. It may be the most important, but it's last in the order here. Education and effective training is the primary way for us to educate staff on the prevention of harmful viruses such as SARS-CoV-2. Proper disinfection procedures are now front and center in our industry, and it's essential that staff are aware of the proper ways to disinfect and clean for pandemic preparedness. Spartan's Clean Check training system is another value-added tool that offers a finished, out-of-the-box, web-based training system that meets the requirements for SIMS-GB as well as the CMI advanced standards. CleanCheck is available at no cost to customers utilizing Spartan products, and features online, accessible, video-based training in English and Spanish. It's going to allow you to generate and download training manuals as well as job cards. So those are similar to the job cards that we looked at earlier with CleanCheck, only they're not going to be customizable. So they are standardized procedures. CleanCheck also offers the ability to distribute certificates to staff. If we want to generate a certificate of completion for post-pandemic cleaning or another module within the system, you have the flexibility to do that. And most importantly, it gives you a variety of training topics. CleanCheck not only has brand new post-pandemic and pandemic cleaning modules. We've released these in the last month. It also features bloodborne pathogen. We have hazardous communication, GHS, there are floor care, restroom. There are modules targeted at healthcare, education. It's a wide variety of topics. And every one of those comes with a test so that your staff we're going to verify that staff understand the material, they complete a test, and are then certified on that topic. So it's an excellent, if you have needs or gaps in your training, if you're looking for some solutions for pandemic training or post-pandemic cleaning, we've got brand new, up-to-date modules based on best recommendations from the CDC. This is some examples of the post-pandemic training cards here out of CleanCheck, just outlining a process of how to begin the cleaning and plan the cleaning, as well as executing that cleaning for a facility that is reopening. And this is an example from the test for CleanCheck for the post-pandemic training. So I hope that I've been able to give you some ideas on resources and tools that Spartan has available to you to help put together, document, and manage your cleaning program as we move forward through this pandemic. I wanted to touch on the requirements for CompuClean very quickly. So the CleanCheck training system is available at no cost, as I mentioned. CompuClean is licensed to you as a condition of, on the condition that you are purchasing Spartan products. We charge either a $420 per year or a $600 per year fee for access to CompuClean, depending on the number of users. $600 is for unlimited, $420 is up to 4 simultaneous users. You have 90 days to evaluate the system with no risk, and you can walk away at any time. There's no penalty. And those are the only out-of-pocket costs. So all the features that we've mentioned are included: support, training, upgrades, everything that you would expect with a quality software package is included for that price. I'd also like to direct you to some resources that Spartan Chemical has available. If you visit our website at www.spartanchemical.com, you can access our COVID-19 page, where we have a variety of different resources. We have an earlier presentation that we've done on the COVID-19 and the pandemic itself. We also have information on effective disinfectants, Spartan disinfectants for use against SARS-CoV-2. This presentation will also be posted to that page shortly after the conclusion. If you would like to learn more about anything that we've discussed or have any questions, feel free to enter those questions now into the Q&A panel. We're going to start our question and answer session in just a moment. Direct contacts for anything building service contractor related, Jared Attanasio. I've got his contact information here that will be available in the recap of the presentation as well. And feel free also to reach out to me with any questions about CompuClean, information on how to get started, or if you'd like to learn more, I'm available as well via email or by calling Spartan's main 800 number. So with that, I would like to go ahead and turn it back over to Callie Sarter and Lauren Clement, who are going to lead our Q&A session.
Thanks, Mike. That was a great presentation. Definitely a lot of ways that building service contractors can use CompuClean and CleanCheck as tools for their business. And especially as they go back in and market their services, I think showing that documentation and then the periodic work scheduling, all of that is going to be really helpful for them to leveraging new business as well. As you mentioned, like the need for more daily or hourly type day porter cleaning. So thank you so much for all of that information. It was great, and a great description of CleanCheck, which is our free training program. And we've launched 2 new training modules that are specific to pandemic cleanup. and one for during the pandemic, so which we came out with back in March, and then now we've just loaded a new post-pandemic cleanup that goes through whether the building was completely shuttered or if it was open for limited visitors, that there's still processes that need to take place to get them back in running. And the great thing with CleanCheck is that you do have those certificates, as Mike said, so you can actually show your customers that your cleaning staff has been trained and certified on the proper procedures. So thank you very much for all of that. We've been getting a lot of great questions coming through. I'm going to start to go through all of those. We've pinged a few of them as they came in, and I'm going to turn it over to Lauren Clement as so she can start moderating the Q&A session while we continue to go through all these great questions. Keep sending them in, and we'll have about 30 minutes here to review and go through your questions. So, Lauren?
All right, thank you, Callie. So the first question I have here is for Jason. Does the CDC publish a list of disinfectants to use for COVID-19?
Yes, I can take this one. Thanks a lot, Lauren, and hope everybody's doing well and staying safe. So the CDC actually doesn't publish a list. However, it's published by the EPA. What needs to be understood is that disinfectants are EPA-registered pesticides. And I guess it's probably a good idea to understand what List N is, which is the published list of disinfectants that are registered for use against COVID-19, and understand how this list kind of came about. So initially, when the pandemic first started, CDC kind of made a recommendation that if you have products out there that kill human coronavirus, it would be good enough for this particular pandemic. Well, as the pandemic kind of went on, the list became a little bit more fluid, and it triggered what the EPA considered the emerging viral pathogen policy. And List N was created to list those particular products. Now, under the emerging viral pathogen policy, the products that were okay for that were actually tested against viruses that are much, much more difficult to kill. So products that would be effective against norovirus, for example, were ones that were initially put on List N. And what that did was it slid the chemistry a little bit to the harsher types of chemicals. You know, we have a product called TB Quat, which is a fantastic product. However, it's built very close to a floor stripper. There's a lot of solvent, it's high pH. BNC15 is another product that is on the List N for the emerging viral pathogen policy and our defense as well. But if you look at the chemistry, these are actually pretty aggressive products, and they were really designed for environmental infection control within a hospital. So as this pandemic has wore on, EPA finally decided to include the products that actually have human coronavirus claims, which include a lot of our low-level type of disinfectants like our HDQ neutral products, which are much, much more surface safe. And as we're finding out, this particular virus is not very hard to kill. It's very fragile outside the human body. So what's happened over time since this particular List N has become a little bit more fluid, a lot of the questions that I get are like products like TB Quat, for example, have both the emerging viral pathogen claim and then they have a human coronavirus claim. Well, because TB Quat has two different contact times, you know, it has 2 minutes for the human coronavirus claim, but 10 minutes for the norovirus claim. Which time kill do I use? Well, since the list is fluid, you can actually use the time kill for the human coronavirus, which would be 2 minutes. So it's an either or. I mean, actually, if you want to use the product to its fullest potential, 10 minutes is always a recommendation for just about any product. But for the most part, it's just the human coronavirus claim that you really need to be concerned about if you're worried about the COVID-19 stuff. So I know that was a lot of information for kind of a simple question, but it's one of the things that I thought was kind of important to address while I'm here. So I'm going to turn that back over to you, Lauren.
All right, thank you. Here's another one for you, Jason. Are products like NABC and X-Effect effective against coronavirus?
This is a great question. Technically, no, because we do not have data that supports the virus against a human coronavirus or NEBC or X effect. However, the one thing that I really want to point out, and I'm glad I'm actually going to be validated by the CDC on this, because they have recently updated their website to include disinfection and cleaning procedures for post-pandemic and opening, which actually lines up very well with our CompuClean program, is that just because a product isn't listed on list N doesn't mean that the product is not effective at its job. You know, one of the things that is very important to really understand is that cleaning is more important than the destruction of any microbial population. So if you're using NEBC in a facility to clean a bathroom or a toilet, it's designed for that. It's good. It never really stopped working as a toilet bowl cleaner. Same thing with X Effect. It's a great damp mopping product for your floors. It's a lot less harsh. So just because it doesn't have the human coronavirus claim on there doesn't mean that it's not an effective cleaner for what you're doing. And one of the things the CDC has recently brought up is to look about rationing your disinfectants and using for disinfection for places where they actually make an impact. You know, it's a good idea to determine whether a surface actually needs to be disinfected. You know, for example, floors. Floors are a very, very low risk to no risk surface that has been proven to transmit this COVID-19. So in that case, instead of wasting disinfectant by spraying the floors or mopping the floors all the time, you can use an appropriate cleaner like a damp mop or just our Excellente to maintain the look and the floor itself. Same thing with carpet. Carpet is another surface that it's a soft surface, and using an appropriate carpet cleaner through the appropriate means is a better way of doing things. So sometimes you kind of have to make a risk assessment on what you're using. Same thing with a mirror. I mean, the mirror is kind of a low risk to no risk thing, and you know, you're better off using a glass cleaner on the mirror as opposed to a disinfectant, which could smear and leave an ugly residue on there. So hope that explains a little bit, and I'm going to send that back to you, Lauren.
All right, thank you. Okay, so next question. Does CompuClean have staff training included?
Yeah, we've received a couple questions about this or related to this, Lauren, and the Clean Check is our staff training application. CompuClean is our custodial management software system. So those are two separate applications, and they are each available to Spartan customers. You need to be a Spartan customer to use these applications. And like Mike said, Clean Check is a free application that is available for any Spartan customer. And then there is a fee associated with using CompuClean. Lauren?
All right, thank you very much. Back to Jason. Which Spartan hand washes have claims for COVID-19?
This is a great question, and actually a frequently one that I've gotten over the last few months. Unfortunately, hand washing products are not EPA registered disinfectants. They're actually regulated drugs by the FDA. And antibacterial hand washes or even sanitizers, they don't undergo the viral efficacy testing that is needed for like a disinfectant. Because they're regulated by the FDA, they're regulated under a monograph, which basically assumes what type of active ingredients you have, and it's responsible to the manufacturers to verify that their formulas are effective against a list of about 26 organisms, including bacteria, yeast, and mold. But they do not do virucidal claims on there. So making an antiviral claim or a reduction in illness are actually considered false and misleading under the monograph. And you can actually get into a lot of trouble if you're out there trying to promote that a hand wash or hand sanitizer is effective against controlling this COVID-19. And, you know, again, I know that they're registered drugs, and I'm just going to say this because it was brought up a couple of weeks ago, but hand sanitizers or disinfectants are not proven to treat COVID-19, and like any other products, they're meant for external use only. They're not meant for ingestion and inhalation or any other sort of use. They are just basically hand washes, hand sanitizers, and or cleaners. So with that note, I'm going to turn that back over to you, Lauren.
All right, thank you. We're getting a lot of questions about where to get this presentation. Mike, could you put that slide back up that lists the URL where it will be after this is concluded?
Certainly.
All right. After he gets that up, Mike, the next question is going to be for you. If you could please tell us how we can buy CompuClean.
Sure. So the CompuClean is it's actually licensed software to the customer. That is a license that is executed between you and Spartan Chemical. And the easiest way to get a hold of CompuClean is to contact your Spartan regional manager, or feel free to contact Spartan directly. Our 800 number or at CompuClean@spartanchemical.com. We can connect you with the proper resources, schedule and set up any presentations or additional information that you'd like about the system, and take you through the licensing process. So again, regional manager or distributor representative for your Spartan distributor would be your best starting point. Back to you, Lauren.
All right, thank you, Mike. So can you tell us a little bit about the typical process for implementation of CompuClean and how long does it take?
Sure, that's a great question, and absolutely something that we hear almost every time we talk to a customer about CompuClean, because it's important that you have an understanding of the needs, the effort, and the time that is going to go into implementing software. Every software, regardless of the environment or the application for the system, requires an implementation process to properly configure it, to customize and get your data into the system, and CompuClean is no exception. So one of the services that we offer with CompuClean is implementation support. So instead of training and cutting you loose to implement the software, we work with you step by step through that process, meeting multiple times directly to discuss your particular scenario, your needs with the system, and then to put together an action plan to make that happen. Our staff will import data into the system for you, do data entry, setup, and configuration to save you the trouble of going through the tedious process of fully populating the system. As to the length of time, that is going to vary widely based on the size of the organization, also based on the feature or features that you are hoping to take advantage of, along with the engagement level, from the customer side. It's important that we have somebody at the building service contractor or other organization that is sort of the quarterback for this process, who is going to be the person driving it on the customer side. We can offer all the service that we possibly can, but without somebody at the customer side who's right there with us, pushing to get the process through to completion, that will impact your time to implement. So I typically say anywhere from 2 weeks to 6 months, depending on the organization. And with that, I'll give it back to you, Lauren.
All right, Mike, how about does CompuClean allow for separate accounts or multiple facilities?
Yeah, so that's a good question as well. Definitely something that is relative to contract cleaners in particular. CompuClean has a very robust account structure. We have the ability to separate access user by user. We're going to be able to even limit down specifically what individual users can see and perform within the system. So we have examples or customers who are utilizing a single account all the way up to about 400 individual accounts. So there's the ability to go big. There's the ability to run it small. It's very, very flexible and adaptable. So we can absolutely handle whatever scenario we might encounter. Lauren?
All right, this one is for Callie. Does CleanCheck have mobile training?
Yes, it does. That's a great question. Thank you for reminding us about that. CleanCheck is designed to scale with whatever device that you're using it on. So if you're using it on a desktop, it will go into desktop mode. And if you're using it on a tablet or a mobile phone, then it will scale down into mobile mode, and the controls will change. So yes, you can do mobile training. And the other thing about CleanCheck is that it's available anywhere that you have an internet connection. So all you need to do is log on to CleanCheck and then type in your username and password, and you have access to the training. So you can actually train at facilities instead of bringing cleaning staff into your office to train them. You can do on-the-job training for them. Thanks, Lauren.
All right, thank you, Kelly. So Jason, are there recommendations for disposal and removal of PPE?
I believe there are actually. Most of it I guess would be hard to describe in words, but there should be videos on YouTube that you could find, and the CDC will have instructions. But essentially, yeah, if you have any sort of like rubber gloves, obviously, if they've been touched with any body fluids, this would fall under the basically the OSHA bloodborne pathogen standard sort of thing. So you would disglove properly by removing one glove with the other, and if it's been exposed to any blood or body fluids, obviously that would have to be put into some sort of biohazard bag. But again, that sort of thing is going to fall under the OSHA bloodborne pathogen standard. So it would be good to review each policy for each individual establishment on that aspect of things. Sort of a wishy-washy answer, but like I said, there's not one blanket policy that can be described for everything. But yeah, removal of proper protective equipment is going to follow under those sort of guidelines. So back to you, Lauren.
All right, it looks like we're getting a lot of questions about which disinfectants are allowed to be used for COVID-19.
Lauren, I'll answer that one. So Mike had posted a link where we have all of our COVID resources on the broadcast, and if you follow that link, we have a PDF that you can download. It's the Spartan disinfectants that are included on the EPA List N, and the EPA List N includes products that have either passed the emerging viral pathogen policy and have been approved for use for that program, or they have the human coronavirus claim on their marketing label, and they are able to say that there's an association for killing human coronavirus to the SARS-related coronaviruses. And so I'll let Jason jump in if he has any technical information, but I wanted to make sure you know where you can go to find that list. You can also find a list on the EPA website. If you just type in your search EPA List N, that will give you a list of all the disinfectants. But if you want the specific Spartan disinfectants, we have those on our EPA List N Spartan disinfectants for COVID that is posted on our webpage.
Callie, I think you did a good job of explaining that. I don't think I really have anything to add to it other than, you know, our specific products are published in a nice little list end thing that you put together. So I'm sure that'll be available after this broadcast is over.
Okay, sounds good. Mike, we have a few more CompuClean questions here. So does CompuClean integrate with client work order system?
Yeah, and Mike, there's also questions about integrating into accounting or any other APIs that CompuClean might have for integration into client systems.
Right, and those are great questions. With regards to integration into client work order, because CompuClean is a work order system, it's really not feasible to integrate into client systems. We do not have any freestanding or pre-configured APIs. However, we are willing to discuss and consider connections to any application if it makes sense. So we kind of consider that on a case-by-case basis.
And can you track product usage through CompuClean?
You can monitor product usage. It is a physical inventory management system, so it is dependent on tracking what is being received and then tracking what is being distributed or consumed within the facility. So it is not a usage estimator. It is a physical usage monitor, and it can be used to monitor not only chemicals in the products that Spartan manufactures, but also your paper, can liners, gloves, PPE, and other materials that you're using to clean your facility.
All right, thanks, Mike. And what equipment is needed to run quality inspections at the client?
That's a great question. As far as the quality inspections, the most efficient way to operate that system is through our mobile app, and our mobile app is compatible with Apple products, so iPhone, iPad, even iPod touches. If you wanted to do something that didn't have a data connection or a phone attached to it. And then that's going to be anything running iOS 10 or later. At this point, we're at iOS 13, so those devices we're not able to get there are 5 or 6 years old. I typically say anything in the last 5 years on the Apple side should be good to go. And when we're looking at Android, we can run with literally thousands of devices. There are a ton of different Android options, smartphones and tablets, even the Amazon Kindle tablets, so Kindle Fires. Those are a great option. Those are Amazon's tablets that run Android, and they have their own store. They're inexpensive, and they're very nicely designed devices. So sometimes you can get them for $50 or $60 a piece. So you don't need anything spectacular. You don't need to spend $1,500 on an iPad Pro. Just a basic tablet or probably the smartphone in your pocket would be sufficient to run our system. And you don't even have to have a data connection while you're doing inspections. So if you are in a facility where you don't have cell coverage or don't have access to Wi-Fi, you can complete inspections. And then once you return to an area with a data connection or Wi-Fi, the system will upload those inspections into the cloud, and you will have no issues with losing any data during that time. So back to you, Lauren.
All right, Jason, if you can take this one for us. Is hand soap or antibacterial hand soap better?
This is a great question. And I'm going to go flat out and say hand washing with soap and water is the most effective way of hand hygiene, hands down, period, pun intended. Yeah, physical removal is always going to be more important than the destruction of a microbial, as I said before. So by physically scrubbing your hands with the running water and the soap on there, creating bubbles and lather, you're going to not only protect yourself from COVID-19, but all the other wonderful things that come out there, like E. coli, norovirus, all the things that could put you in the can for an extended period of time. So hand washing by far is recommended over anything. Hand sanitizers are really just for areas where you don't have access to a sink and running water. So if you come out of a grocery store after you've handled, some of the products, or, that gross thing when you pick up, some of the chicken, you got all that juice on there and you're like, a nice hand wipe or a hand sanitizer is good for that. But you should always wash your hands with soap and running water if at all possible. So with that, back to you, Lauren.
Okay, so let's see, another CompuClean question here. How do we implement CompuClean, and is there online training or on-site training?
Yes, so the CompuClean implementation, we handle, as I mentioned earlier, talking about our implementation process, we handle that case by case. You will be connected to a live CompuClean implementation associate who will design an implementation plan for you. We typically handle that through web meetings, so it's an indirect, we don't have to make contact. We don't have to worry about social distancing. We can do this all via the web. So we'll set up a series of meetings to discuss needs, identify data and other resources that we will need from you and what we can do on our end to get that into the system, and then culminate with targeted custom training for you and your staff. We also accomplish that through the web meeting format. So we'll have an interactive web meeting where we can train you and your team, make sure that everybody has the app installed, configured, and you've got the knowledge you need to manage and utilize the system moving forward. We can also leverage our regional manager network. We have Spartan regional managers in every area of the country. We can bring them into the process, have them on site as a resource to instruct and train you directly as well. So back to you, Lauren.
Yeah, Mike, there were questions about training at Spartan for CompuClean. Is that something that Spartan does?
It has been in the past. We actually do host a couple of live training events every year. Obviously, with the changes to the dynamic of our entire lives right now, we're sort of in a holding pattern on that and trying to figure out how we're going to do that moving forward. We have traditionally offered 2 sessions a year that are brick and mortar. You come and visit us at Spartan for a couple of days and learn the program hands-on, top to bottom. We'll provide meals and lodging during those sessions. Details on those, again, are kind of up in the air at this point, based on the current situation and the fact that we can't bring groups of people into the facility. But hopefully, later on this year or early next year, we will have opportunities for on-site training again.
Yeah, and the other thing I was thinking about, Mike, is that we have our building service contractor seminar, which Mike spends time with all of our attendees for that building service contractor seminar and goes through ways to use CompuClean to help leverage that through your business. Jared, do you want to talk about our contractor seminar and where we are currently with that?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Callie. Similar to what Mike said, right now we have a tentative date reserved in August, but again, we're under the guidelines of the CDC and really paying attention to social distancing and kind of what that looks like. So as of right now, we've kind of got a placeholder for that in August, late August. More details to come on that, but that is, if we are able to have that this year, it's a great way to learn a lot more about different things that we offer, like CompuClean, food processing, modules, different things within the industry. So we will keep everybody posted on that and make sure that we send out information as we find more out ourselves.
Okay, and then there's several questions that are coming in about electrostatic sprayers. And I wanted to give Jason a chance to just talk about the use of disinfectants through electrostatic sprayers and the recommendations from the EPA and CDC.
So essentially, EPA and CDC have come out against the use of broadcast spraying of disinfectants and fogging, misting type of applications, as they just aren't really an appropriate use of the products for this type of pandemic cleaning. So unfortunately, I've seen many videos out there, people just spraying and walking away, and that is just not an appropriate way of cleaning for this. It is important that surfaces are pre-cleaned prior to the use of a disinfectant. That's one of the big CDC recommendations, and that just isn't happening. So EPA on their website, they've got the frequently asked questions about coronavirus, and they have come out and said that the use of these sprayers is not really an appropriate means of applying a disinfectant. So we are no longer going to be recommending any of our products through the use of these things. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to you, Lauren.
Okay, it's Callie. So that's really the end of our Q&A session. Now I'm going to give Mike a chance to wrap up the broadcast, but I just want to make sure that everyone knows that we are posting this presentation on our COVID preparedness page on our website, which is following that link that Mike is showing on the web. And that we will also post a recording of this broadcast if you'd like to share it or to be able to revisit it again. Thank you. Mike, closing statements?
Great. Thank you, Callie. And I'd like to first thank everybody from Spartan who's participated today. Jared Atanasio, fantastic job with our building service contractor group. Jason Welch from our lab, excellent information on the the microbiological aspects and disinfection aspects of COVID-19. He's a wonderful resource. Callie Sarter, absolutely appreciate all the help and support that you were able to give, as well as Lauren Clement for moderating and handling our Q&A today. We've got a great team here at Spartan, and we are all here to support you in your efforts. I know we are all moving into uncharted territory. It's intimidating. It's confusing. There's a lot of information out there, and as a company, we like to always focus on the idea of keeping cleaning simple, and that doesn't change as we move into the post-pandemic era. You can count on Spartan for clear and concise information on proper disinfection, proper pandemic cleaning procedures, and the resources and tools to help manage that process moving forward. So on behalf of myself and everybody at Spartan, I want to thank you all for your time today. We value that and respect it, and I sincerely appreciate you taking the time to be with us. If there's anything that we can do for you, feel free to reach out to any of the contact information that you've seen here. Jump on our website, check out the links in the broadcast, and we hope to hear from you and hope to have the opportunity to serve you moving forward. So with that, I thank you and wish you a great day and rest of the week.